What's up, guys? So we are back with another Commander deck tech. Today we are doing Hogaak, Arisen Necropolis. Now, this is the first commander I've done of this type. You can't spend mana to cast this spell. It has Convoke and Delve, so you can tap your creatures for colors or generic mana that are on the board, or you can exile cards from your graveyard for generic mana to cast this card. You can cast them from the graveyard. He has Trample. He's an 8/8. Being that you can cast him from the graveyard, you never have to pay command attacks, which is great. Now, this is just a rough draft of this deck. I might do an update of it in the future. I don't know yet. We'll see. But so far, this is the way I've been playing it. I've been playing it for about a month now. And it doesn't always win. It wins sometimes. It depends on what else is at the table. But it does play pretty nicely. So we're going to jump into this deck. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And leave a comment down below if you guys have any suggestions for this deck, because I'm always open to suggestions. And like I said, this is just the first draft. It might change over time, and then you guys might get an update. So kicking off the creatures, we have Llanowar Elves, Pel Collector, because we have a lot of nice creatures in here with different powers, and Hogaak being an 8/8. For part of the game, it will be bigger than Pel Collector. There may be a point where Pel Collector gets bigger than it, but generally it will be bigger than Pel Collector. Alright, we have Sakura Tribe Elder for some land search. Timeless Witness. We are a graveyard deck. We care about a lot of our graveyard stuff, a lot of sack outlets, a lot of sacrificing things and stuff to that nature. Sengir, the Dark Baron. Whenever another creature dies, put 2/1/1 counters on Sengir, the Dark Baron. And when another player loses the game, you gain life to that player's life total as the turn began. So another way to win the game, hidden in the deck. It builds up pretty quick. Like I said, there is some sack stuff in here to make your opponent sack cards. And we do have some smaller creatures, so some of our stuff may die, thus making Sengir bigger. Alright, my favorite creature, Burnished Heart. We have Sir Conrad the Grim. Whenever a creature dies or a creature card is put into the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves the graveyard, Sir Conrad deals 1 damage to each opponent. Now, this helps us in a multitude of ways, because Hogaak will be going to the graveyard when it dies and leaving the graveyard when we recast it. So that'll deal damage each time. When we exile the creature cards with the Delve ability, that also triggers as a creature is leaving the graveyard. And, like I said, a lot of stuff will be dying, so I'm sure creatures will be hitting the graveyard. Next, we have one of my favorite classic cards, Gravedigger, because like I said, we need ways to get stuff back from the graveyard. Silumgar Scavenger, another great card, another way to get some stuff into the graveyard. And another big beater because it gets a +1/+1 counter whenever another creature we control dies, which could be fairly often. We have Jaren, Corrupted Bishop. When he enters the battlefield or another non-token human you control dies, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 white human creature token. Now, I believe there is maybe 6 or so humans in the deck besides himself. And with the little bit of graveyard recurrence we have, his ability could activate in a multitude of times. So we have Dina, Soul Steeper, one of the best cards in black and green in my opinion. It's another sack outlet, get stuff in our graveyards, pump her up. Whenever we gain life, each opponent loses life, so there's that as well. We got Fleshbag Marauder, one of my favorites. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. We also have his close brother, Plaguecrafter. Same deal, when he enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or Planeswalker. So Plaguecrafter is slightly better than Fleshbag. And each player who can't discards a card. Yahenni, Undying Partisan. That's another deck I want to build, is Yahenni. Maybe that will be on one of the lists of things I build. Alkaloid of Affliction. When it enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So, tons of great uses for this card. Rampaging Balos. We like Rampaging Balos in this deck for 2 reasons. One, we're playing green, so we'll have lots of landfall triggers. Second, if you notice, Hogaak's casting cost here has the hybrid Golgari symbols there. So we can tap the green beast tokens for the green mana there instead of tapping our actual creatures if we want to. Beast Whisperer for a little bit of draw. Obelisk Spider. Sereth, the Viper's Fang. So this is 2 things on it. One, a way to make people less likely to block Hogaak. And 2, a way to make it a little bit harder to remove when it's untapped. So definitely multiple uses. Sangromancer. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain 3 life. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you gain 3 life. So this card will activate many a times in these games. We have Hatchery Spider, which has Undergrowth. Now, Undergrowth is important because, like I said before, we're gonna have stuff in our graveyards. 9 times out of 10, a hefty amount of stuff in our graveyards. So it has Undergrowth. So its X cost is equal to the number of creature cards in our graveyard. And as you can see, we have a vast number of creature cards. We still have a few more to go yet. But, so these numbers may get up. And generally, if you're going to remove stuff with Hogaak, you're going to remove the stuff that you're not going to reuse. And the creatures are not usually the things you're going to remove from the game. We got the Rhizome Lurcher, another Undergrowth card. When it enters battlefield, it gets +1/+1 counters equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So another great card in this deck. Golgari Finebroker. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. More graveyard recurrence. Urgros, the empty one. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If that player can't, you draw a card. So, a way to thin your opponent's hands. And if they don't have hands, a way to draw some cards. Now, Finn the Fangbearer, this card, the deck could probably function without it, but it's always fun to have. Some games when you get Finn out with the Viper, where'd she go? The Viper's Fang there, all your stuff will get Death Touch, so then you can go swinging in for them poison damage. Last creature, Workable Elder. This helps with some artifact and enchantment removal. And being that we can bring it back from the graveyard, cast it again, that's always a good thing to have. A little bit of removal on a creature. So next we're going into the artifacts. Now, 2 of these probably ain't going to surprise anybody. We have Soul Ring and Commander Spear. We also have Nev's Disc and the Book of Vile Darkness. Now, the Book of Vile Darkness is questionable here. I am looking for this other card here. The Eye of Vensa and the Hand of Vensa. So, I am looking for those cards. I do not have them yet. So that might be in the updated video of this deck if I ever make an updated one. But at the beginning of our end step, if we lost 2 or more life that turn, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, which helps again with Hogaak's ability because we need creatures of certain colors to get our effects off. So, on to the enchantments. We have some of the better black enchantments. Omen of the Dead, Bitter Blossom, which puts 1/1 black fairy rogues onto the battlefield. Minion Return for some more graveyard recurrence. And a way to help protect Hogaak, because we can flash this onto him when He's going to be destroyed, and then he will come back after he dies. And then we have Demonic Embrace. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1 and flying, and is a demon in addition to those other types. And you may cast this card from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. So giving Hogaak +3/+1 and flying on top of having trample makes it a little bit bigger of a force to deal with. So another great card. I guess we'll do the instance next. We have Putrefy for some removal. We have Murder for some removal. And then we have some other fun cards. We have Grizzly Salvage. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card or land card from among them into your hand and the rest in your graveyard. So it gets stuff in our graveyard for Hogaak. Costly Plunder. As an additional cost to this card, sacrifice an artifact or creature and draw 2 cards. Harrow for some land search. Rushed Rebirth. Choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, choose your library for a creature card with lesser mana value and put it onto the battlefield. Tap, then shuffle. So Hogaak is a 7-drop. So if we target this with Hogaak, we can search our deck for pretty much anything else in the deck, which is great for us. Tend the Pests. As an additional cost, cast a spell, sack creature. Create X 1/1 black and green pest tokens. With when they die, you gain 1 life, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Hence, we can sack Hogaak. Hogaak is 8. We'll get 8 pests, and we can tap the pest to recast Hogaak. Busted. Village Rite, sack creature, draw 2 cards. Dark Ritual, because we have some cards that cost a little more, so getting the extra mana might not be a bad thing. Fog, pretty much Fog. Okay. Bake into a Pie, some more creature removal, and creates a food token. Roiling Regrowth to search for some more lands. Deadly Dispute to draw 2 cards, create a treasure, get stuff in our graveyards. Succumb to Temptation, draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. And then we have last instant in the deck is Golgari Charm. Everyone should know what Golgari Charm does. So that is the instance. We're running quite a few for all the instant speed removal. So off to the sorcery cards. We're running quite a few sorcery cards, but it is what it is. It's what we need to do this deck. We have Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, and Migration Path, all for that land search, because we're in black and green. We have access to all this land search. We might as well use it. In Garrick's Wake to wipe the board of our opponent's stuff. We have Life and Death. Turns all our lands into 1/1s that are still lands. And Death. Return target creature card from your graveyard to play. You lose life equal to its convert mana cost. So another way to get stuff back from the graveyard. Track down, we scry 3, reveal the top card. If it's a creature or land, we get to draw a card. Now, this card has the deck manipulation for the top deck, and it may get us a land or a creature if we need one. Deadly Brew, each player sacrifices something. And if we sacrificed, we may return another permanent card from our graveyard to our hand. So more graveyard recurrence. Stir the Grave, same deal. Bone Splinters, more removal. Check the Traps. Check 4 traps. This card is fun. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it, exile a card. If an instant card or card with flash is exiled this way, they lose 1 life. Otherwise, you lose 1 life. So a way to get something out of our opponent's hands and see their hands. Zombify for some graveyard recurrence. Sign in Blood to draw some more cards. Gaze in Granite. More removal. More specific removal, but more removal. Raise Dead. More graveyard recurrence. Ever After. Even more graveyard recurrence. Gruesome Menagerie. More graveyard recurrence. Fine and Finality. And last but not least, Diabolic Tutor. So obviously to search for your deck. So guys, that is Hogaak, Arisen, Necropolis. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's any cards you guys would play. Maybe I didn't think of it, or maybe it's not in here. Like I said, this is the first build I've had of this deck, and it may change in the near future. But if there's any other commander decks you guys want to see, leave it in the comment section as well. If you haven't already, check out the list of commander decks I've already done. I may have already covered it. And like always, the link to this deck list will be in the top of the description box for you guys to go check out. If you guys want to play this deck, buy this deck, build this deck, go check it out. I will see you guys in the next video.